The last major upgrade on Cardano network was Shelley mainnet in July. Mary Hardfork coming to mainnet tomorrow. A buddy of mine from high school just texted me a little bit ago, also a Cardano accumulator, and he said, Danny, leading into Tuesday, our portfolios are going to be right back up there after this dip that we've just seen. I replied and I said, dude, Shelley mainnet was the swing high followed by negative 50% to the downside. And then he stopped texting me. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way in. Let's jump into the Cardano video. It's a true story. This just happened. I'm still waiting on his reply. Nope, still no reply. Let's talk about this. Now, do I think Cardano, after this after this Mary Hardfork mainnet tomorrow, is going to dip 50% to the downside? I don't necessarily think that at all. But that mindset, and I'm speaking to you if you're new to crypto especially, and if you haven't been in this ecosystem for very long, that mindset of not expecting huge dips like that, but simply anticipating, simply realizing that the possibility is there. That mindset is the key to success in crypto. Always being ready for those scenarios. Now, here is what it looks like. This is Shelley mainnet. You know all the hype going into Shelley mainnet, all the gains going into Shelley mainnet, and it was a swing high before ultimately 50% to the downside. That happened. And all of it, even the negative 50% dip, all of it, part of an incredibly bullish story for Cardano. Because right now, as I do this video, we sit at $1.23, everybody. And so it is, if you zoom out on these charts and understand the story being told before your eyes, from a fundamental and from a technical analysis standpoint, you will win in the long term. So let's talk about what's going on. You know what's happening. Mary Hardfork will be the orderly transition of Cardano from a single asset ledger supporting only ADA into a multi-asset ledger. It's going to introduce support for multiple diverse user-defined tokens on Cardano. What's it look like in practice? In short, it means you will begin to notice new assets being exchanged on the Cardano blockchain, like ERC20 tokens that can be created and transacted on the Ethereum network. Native tokens will open up similar functionality for Cardano. Everybody, this isn't even being talked about. Cardano's a top 3 crypto, and what is about to happen in the entire crypto universe is not even being talked about that much. That alone is so bullish. We're going to dig in to the hourly chart to see where Cardano is right now, trading at around $1.23, what's in store. But first, just to remind you, and I did this in yesterday's video, Bitcoin enters the bull market in November. There it is, breaking the green channel, the bull market doors on the macro charts. Here's Ethereum breaking the bull market doors on its own charts in January. Now here's Cardano in February, just breaking the bull market doors. Cardano still just entering its own bull market. Things could not look any more bullish. Now, here's the move that just transpired, and I actually tweeted this. First off, check this out. This was Cardano at $1.28 before making that breakout move to all-time high. Right before it happened, I tweeted this, and I said, for fun, here's what I think an all-time high for Cardano might look like if it happened in the hours ahead, with ADA seeing rejection off of the 140s. This is very speculative. There's not a lot of structure in these areas. There really was not a lot of structure. But from the very little data we had, this is why I charted what I did. So I charted speculatively. Cardano would be just cruising up into the 140s, rejected back down. And how did that play out? Same chart, 30-minute chart. There it is. Cardano into the 140s and back down. The reason I'm showing that is not because I'm trying to pat myself on the back. I'm just showing you that because technical analysis works. The reason I tweeted that was based off of technical analysis. So as we dig into these charts and we start laying out different speculative scenarios, this is kind of this guide for us to make our decisions based on what we see historically, what moving averages look like, what support looks like, what resistance look like. And it's very reliable if you can look at all of it objectively. Now, let's go to back to the 6-hour chart. So here's Shelley mainnet back, all the way back here in July. We know what happened there. We weren't in a bull market when that happened, right? So that's important to note. Right now, tomorrow, Mary hard fork coming to mainnet. We are in a bull market. So there are some things we need to break down on these charts to really get an idea of what might kind of be ahead in this week ahead for us in Cardano. So the story on this 6-hour chart is clear. We've just been consolidating over and over again before breakouts, right? And right now, Cardano consolidating once again in one of the most short-term parabolic type of, patterns that it's been in, coming out of a symmetrical triangle that we've been tracking, really in this rising channel right now, higher highs and higher lows. Breakout target, we know out of this channel, easily $2 plus. And as we get higher in this channel, the breakout target to the upside gets higher, and the breakout target to the downside actually gets a little bit less extreme. But even still, right now, the breakout target to the downside is in the 60-cent range, and you have to be mindful of that. I'm not even quite sure we're going to get to test this lower trend line once again towards the 90 cents to $1 range. There's so much demand for Cardano because what is happening right now in the Cardano ecosystem. What's going to launch tomorrow on mainnet, that's one thing, but that doesn't speak to potential Africa, Coinbase, Grayscale, and everything else on the roadmap for this year. Part of Goguen in terms of Marlowe and Plutus happening, smart contracts coming to Cardano. There's so much, it's ridiculous, and we're in a bull market, to remind you. Now let's dig in here. Let's start checking out what's actually occurring on the hourly chart. So here it is. First off, to kind of recap the story, Cardano consolidated back here, as you remember, out of the symmetrical triangle. So much space down here. Look at all of the space. And we had this swing low, which allowed for a bottom trend line in the first place. But just so much space here, illustrating just all of the demand for Cardano. We broke out of that trend line. We hit what was an inverse head and shoulders that we tracked. We hit the target to the upside. We got rejected off that resistance from that target back to the downside to the symmetrical triangle. And just look at the harmony on these charts. Everything playing out very nicely. Bounced off the symmetrical triangle apex. We bounced all the way back up to a $1.50 target, which was a target that we were tracking for this inverse head and shoulders. We basically hit that target to the upside. Not to mention the target from this symmetrical triangle to the upside. So $1.50 basically hit, 2 targets hit. And then now we are, not surprisingly at all, revisiting the trend line or the neckline of that inverse head and shoulders that we were tracking. Now, that's not to say that, we saw an initial bounce there. That's good. That's bullish on the short term. That's not to say there couldn't be more downside. Ultimately, we have a very, very important downside target of support to really have on our minds. And this isn't that extreme 50% dip scenario, but this is a dip scenario further to the downside, which is that last trend line touch, February 23rd, around 5 days ago, to our new swing high that we just put in the other day. And we have this support area, Fibonacci 618 to 786. Those prices are around 95 cents at the 786 and right around $1.07 at the 618. That channel right there, 95 to $1.07, a very important channel of support for Cardano. In an environment where crypto continues dipping right now, will Cardano see some capitulation into that area? Ultimately, from where it is right now, that could be a dip of another 15 to 20% overall. And let me actually delete that. Overall, that could be an ultimate dip of 35% if we were to hit that 95 cent area for Cardano. Now, what is going to happen in the week ahead? This is why we have to track this, because there's one thing that is different from the Shelley mainnet launch that we saw here on the 6-hour chart. The thing that is different is that we are in a bull market, and I don't just mean Cardano, but Bitcoin's in its own bull market as well. So we have to really track short-term support for Cardano, which right now is this neckline of this inverse head and shoulders that we tracked. And in the coming days, the coming hours, going into mainnet launch tomorrow, it's going to be extremely interesting to see what Cardano does. Now, if we go back to the 6-hour chart, I want to just really make note of this, because this is the bullish potential for Cardano as Cardano is being accumulated right now, everybody. These dips, Cardano is leading the markets. I just saw a headline on an article basically talking about, man, Bitcoin's down 25%, but basically Cardano is just holding markets together, right? In like a ray of sunshine or something it said. I forget the article. I'll put it in the link below, in the description below. But here we are. This is what we want to track for Cardano. Can Cardano make its way back up to the $1.43 area, this upper trend line, really in the next 12 hours or so? And on the hourly chart, if we're looking at what a move like that looks like, you can just see $1.43 right here. Can Cardano make a move like that? And right now, in the very short term, as I record this video, we got that bounce off of that neckline. We put in a new higher low, which is a good start. And right now, the very short term resistance for Cardano to break, to potentially see a breakout going into Sunday night bull run or something, would be this: that very short term swing high to that swing low we just put in. Cardano right now at $1.24. And we're looking at resistance at $1.27 to $1.29. If Cardano can test that area, and be careful for resistance at that area, but if Cardano can break that area and start closing hourly candles, this could be the new short-term trend for Cardano to start putting in some bullishness going into mainnet, Merry Hard Fork mainnet launch tomorrow. But here's the one thing that is just true at the end of the day. Cardano is in demand right now. And there are other things that are happening right now for Cardano. So this dip alone of around 20+% is huge consolidation for Cardano for potential setup of continuation, bullish continuation to new short-term all-time highs. And this could keep happening, as we've seen Bitcoin do most recently. It just keeps breaking all-time highs. So these are my thoughts on the Cardano charts right now. I wanted to break it down as we go into tonight, kind of just give you all the different scenarios, what to anticipate, what to look for. But it's just going to be really interesting the next 12 to 24 hours for Cardano as this big event happens, a big update happens. And at the end of the day, everybody, play it cool, anticipate all the scenarios, and just have some fun in this bull market. Appreciate you all cruising by. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.